In to Greenville Grit, Greenville residents in touch on 103.7 WTIB. This is the local show that keeps you connected and in touch with the issues that affect what's happening in your community. Greenville Grit is sponsored by Ribeyes, Kid Construction, and Greenville Toyota. Now, here are your hosts for Greenville Grit, Terry Williams and Michael Overton.
Good evening and welcome to Greenville Grit. I'm Terry Williams.
I'm Michael Overton and
I'm Dennis Mitchell.
All right, Dennis, good to have you back on the show today.
Good to have
I thought y'all got rid of me after the whole screw comment a couple weeks ago.
We'll have to remind the listeners what that comment was about.
No.
And the prop. Where's the prop? You don't have it with
I
you.
don't have it with me.
That's
Well,
all
thank you
right.
for coming back on, Dennis. Today we'll have it's kind of quiet this time of year,
Yeah,
Terry.
a little bit.
And I don't think in the month of July they don't have a city council meeting, do they?
Not usually. I think
Yeah, it's
they
'cause of the
usually
Mercer
take
rule.
off.
The Mercer rule.
Yeah,
What rule is that?
They take off in July. He blames it on Nancy Jenkins.
No, Blanche Forbes, I think.
Forbes.
Yeah.
Blanche Forbes. So, but it's
That's
really
right.
he's the one bringing it up every year.
But even then, it's still been rather quiet the
It
last
has
few weeks,
been.
and I wonder why. We'll get into that maybe in the show. But before we start this show, we always thank the sponsors that allow the show to
That's
go
right.
on. Thank you, Greenville Toyota, for supporting us since the day we started this show. On our first episode, go see Craig Gullis and the Greenville Toyota team if you're looking for a new Toyota or Scion or a new used car, as well as need your car serviced, tires, whatever. They can take care of you there. 321-3000, GreenvilleToyota.com, or across from Fresh Market on Memorial Drive.
Yep.
Thank you to Ribeye Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Good salad bar, phenomenal steak. And I believe they have
Great
live
pork
music on
chop,
Thursday
too.
nights. You have had the pork chop?
I had the pork chop
Was
finally.
good?
Very good.
Awesome.
Very good. Great
Yeah,
choice.
I like steaks.
So don't discount it if you don't eat a lot of steak. Go there and get some of their other things. Their seafood's good, and the pork chops and salad bar.
Well, they've been out really pushing business too.
Yeah, they
I've
have.
visited a lot of different companies and really want to get people in there. There's a great room in the back called the English Room for your private parties. You can go
It's very
and
nice.
reserve that. We've had meetings back there, and my company had our Christmas party there this
Great.
past year. So make sure you support them. They're at the corner of Arlington Boulevard and Fire Tower Road, as well as the location in Williamston. And the Overton Group, real estate professionals serving all of Eastern North Carolina in commercial real estate leasing, sales, business brokerage, property management, and residential brokerage. You got anything to add, Dennis?
No.
All right, well, we're going to take our 2-minute commercial break. He'll have something to add in 2 minutes,
He
I can
will.
promise you. Be back in
Maybe.
2.
Are you?
Welcome back to the Greenville Grit. I am Michael Overton, along with my co-host Terry Williams and Dennis Mitchell. As we said before we went out on the show for our break, it's a little slow, but there's still a lot of things going on in the city. We kind of talked briefly in the break about some of the hires. They've got several positions to hire for: police chief,
Economic development.
economic
Director.
development, and as well as assistant city manager.
Two
they're
of
hiring
them.
2 assistant
They're
city
hiring
managers.
2.
They're trying to hire 2 assistant city managers. Okay.
And a park superintendent too, when Mark Gillespie retired.
Okay.
Wow.
So, have you heard anything where we are in those searches, Dennis? I know you're pretty in tune
I
with what's
think
going on.
the city manager might have mentioned that interviews are going to be done, I guess, sometime in July. And I guess shortly after interviews, they give offers. But I have heard there have been a couple of candidates offered positions. I mean, I heard in the instance of assistant city manager, somebody was offered a position and pulled out of it.
No, I heard the same thing about possible. Same thing in the police chief.
Police chief,
Have
I
you heard
the
that
same
at all?
thing.
I have heard that rumor as well.
So let's say that rumor's true. What are your thoughts? So if that's the case, that concerns me. If people are looking, why do you think that they're pulling out?
I mean, one thing you know is you can't think for 1 minute that people interview for positions like assistant city manager and police chiefs, they're not going on the internet and viewing the city council meetings. So I think they're seeing what's
Could be
going on,
enough.
the unstableness that's being shown by city council, the lack of future direction and thought. I think that's the real reason why we lost Carl Reeves. I mean, he hasn't said that to me personally, but I mean, Carl Reeves was a person that was really doing some great things for our city, and I think that he probably seen that the direction was changing as far as economic development and jumped for the new opportunity when it came for him.
I think you're right about that. Well, it just bothers me that why these candidates get down to the very end, it's time to make a decision, and then they're pulling out. What is it that they
Dennis just said they're looking at
either
the
weren't
tape.
told, or they probably looked at those meetings before they ever applied, and maybe they thought they could wade through it, and then when they actually get down here,
probably go out there and look for the opportunity, and then when they get called, it's okay. Let me think seriously about this
Right.
now. I'm like,
is this something I really want to do?
I don't know if I can deal with that Mercer guy.
No. Well, I will say that and I'm not going to mention this person's name, but this was a person who formerly worked with the city, and I asked them. I said, "So you're leaving?" They said, "Well, I know that next year is going to be an extremely political year, so I'm going to get out while I can."
Mm-hmm. I think it will be too. So that brings us around to just a couple of more weeks before they'll be filing to see who's going to actually run. This is a concern.
If this is what people that we're trying to, good people,
right,
that we're trying to hire or retain in our city, and they're terrified of the politics around our city council, then it's going to cause us some major problems.
And which brings me back to the spin. I think that's what I forgot about the last show I was on. I want to talk about is of course, when Calvin mentions this, his spin about he goes back to 2 years ago and the hires that left, how much it cost the city, he doesn't pay attention to how many hires we lost on him.
Right.
Our great police chief left after almost 2 years, just 2 years on the job, left. Our assistant city manager left just after a year or so on the job.
Right.
These people just left. Our economic development left after a couple years on the job. At least the people that left under when I was on city council were retiring out. They've been there forever.
Right.
It was time for them to
well,
make
and
a decision.
you know what? I will say this. Calvin has made mention of other people leaving, and one of them being the former police chief who went to Asheville, who has since been fired from Asheville, and caused, remember what Chief Aiden told us before he left? I think they lost one of their, they had some type of award or some certification with the police. Accreditation. That's the word I was trying to think of. They lost their accreditation. Yeah, well, just right. They lost their accreditation because he was there.
That's right.
And his exact words, I'll say it because he's no longer in Greenville, were, "You've got to be really bad to lose that accreditation."
That's right.
Yeah, but I mean,
it just bothers me.
But yet, and you were there too, so I'm gonna put it. You guys were criticized because people left. That wasn't a bad loss.
Yeah.
No.
But we lost bad losses of people who should have been here for at least 3 to 5 more years in our city under Calvin Mercer's leadership.
That's right.
So I mean, and that's one thing that bothers me. The newspaper doesn't pick up on that stuff. I mean, he wrote that stuff in his newsletter 3 years ago, and they picked up on when they ran the stories. But the same exact thing is happening under different circumstances under his watch, and he's not being called on it.
Well, I'm not. It doesn't concern me in particular that our police chief hasn't been placed yet, because I feel like we're in very good hands with who's in control right now. I know that he's ready, I'm sure, probably for someone else to come in and take control. But I am very concerned that I feel like economic development isn't going to be moving and planning, and there's no vision without a good, strong leader like we had with Carl. And he is going to be hard to replace.
Very hard.
Because he had the love of Greenville, as well as all of his knowledge about where we've been and where we need to go, and that really that bothers me. And I'm sure if the city manager needs 2 assistant managers, she must be completely overloaded. And so that worries me, that why does it take so long to, maybe you can answer that, to even hire? What is the procedure so difficult that they can't have somebody in place by now?
Absolutely not.
I don't understand that.
Absolutely not. I mean, we hired Barbara in 3 months?
Something like that.
I mean, absolutely. That was the city manager's position. So, I mean, I don't understand what's taking so long. And these are critical positions. Like you mentioned, I mean, when Carl was there, you were hearing something about economic development almost
all the time.
Weekly.
Yes.
You haven't heard anything. What is going on? Absolutely nothing. I mean, but again, if you had the council 2 years ago that was up there, we would have been pushing, demanding that position be filled.
Right.
Or we probably have fought tooth and nail to get called to stay here.
Right.
But right now, the vision is not economic development, so it's like, whatever.
And we may not have been able to keep him. I mean, where he is might have been something he had, looked to the future already, Dennis, but it still bothers me.
There is not going to be a hurry when the leadership of the 4-person block, I'm not going to mention names, but everyone knows who it is. When the leadership of the 4-person block voted against the formation of the Economic Development Department, there's not going to be a push to replace it.
There's not.
Absolutely
Remember,
not.
Dennis, we want to be fiscally responsible.
Yeah, and we don't have to mention names. I don't know if people watch Game of Thrones, so we can call him Stannis Baratheon.
I don't watch it, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
But anyway, I'm just really concerned, and like you said, it is quiet. It's almost too quiet. And I'm sure there's things going on in the background that we don't know about, but I wish we'd have some sort of an update.
Oh, it's quiet. You want to know what's quiet? Because in 2 months, not even maybe 4 weeks, 5 weeks at the most, filing's got to be done for
Oh, it's less than that.
Yeah, it
now.
starts
It's
in,
July
I think-
7th.
Yes.
July
that's when it
7th.
starts, but it closes out in
A
4
week.
weeks.
A week after that,
That's a
or
week
10 days
that.
after
I think
that.
it's only a week. It was
It's
only
not
before
very,
a week.
yeah, not very.
But things have picked up slow. The selection cycle. I mean,
I think it's already started. I thought July 7th was the last day.
No.
No,
So you can file now.
Yeah, but when we ran, I mean, election got started like in February.
Right.
You know, we started early. You know, started off with that Calvin Mercer's comments about the airport leaking some information, and it was on ever since then. So it's kind of quiet.
Calvin has been the only one that I know has said that he is going to rerun. I guess did Alan say he was going to rerun? Has that been anything?
I don't think he said it formally,
publicly?
but I think people are assuming that he is.
Okay, but I know that Calvin has said it. Now he has said that
Well, he said he was going to run for mayor first, and now he's running back for at large.
at large. Why do you think?
I mean, the way Calvin is strategically very methodical about things, it could be a ploy to me to catch Allen off guard and come back at the end. And say
Well, the rumor was he was going to run for mayor and put Uriah Ward in for at large.
Who's Uriah Ward?
I think he ran for against Brian Brown in the House seat.
Oh
last
yeah,
year.
the guy who just graduated college.
Why are you laughing?
I just think it's funny. It's
What
funny.
part?
The thought of it is even funny.
So, well, let's talk
No
about that.
experience,
I mean,
no business. I mean, we don't even know if he's running. So, I mean, I don't know if there's really any need to talk to him, talk about him. But
Okay,
but I certainly
we'll go back on the experience. Let's talk about experience.
none.
What level of experience do you think needs to be had in running for city council?
A lot business experience, first of all.
We'll look at the council we have.
I know that's what I'm saying.
You can't say that because Calvin Mercer used to watch his mama do the bookkeeping for the library.
All right, guys.
You said that. I didn't say that.
That's what he stated was his business experience.
Well,
But
I just think it needs to go far
I'm going
beyond
back
that.
on my point of
no,
that.
no.
I mean, no offense.
This is
We
serious.
have
I
the
know
president
we're
of the
kind
United States that have never done anything
Yes,
in business or
exactly.
anything. So we're obviously used to having leaders in this country that
Wow.
don't have experience leading anything except for signing up for
I just think it's a real
political
problem.
events.
I just think that what we've got now and what we've got sitting there with the majority is a clear picture of non-business experience.
I mean, it's very critical to that because that budget in itself is the most
Exactly.
important piece. And if you don't have an understanding of balance sheets and financial statements and just a general knowledge of how to balance the budget and where to look for things, that you get caught up. And I think that's why we were able to keep the taxes low and do so much that we were able to do in the council, because you had me, Alan, and Max up there with business experience that were catching this stuff. And now pretty much you just have Alan up there and he's doing what he can to catch it. And you have a lot of people who've never had to do that before. So it's like, you know, nothing wrong with working for a government, but there's a lot of people out there who's been working for the government their entire life.
See, my issue, I'm glad you said that, because my issue with that is that's double dipping on the taxpayer.
Mm-hmm.
The taxpayer's paying them twice.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you got to think about that too when you go to that ballot box of who you're voting in.
That's right.
You're paying them twice. You're paying them to do their job as in their day job, and then you're paying them to do their job in their night job. So you're paying them all around.
But it's also people that never understand that the money doesn't just drop out of trees.
Right.
And sometimes that's what I feel like when I'm watching council. It's like, I mean, the money's there somewhere. Let's
It's
raise
not
that.
in
Just
trees,
find
it's
it.
in funds, Dennis.
Well,
we
it's-
have it in funds
It's-
everywhere.
It's the miracle on 5th Street.
Is that well? That's a good. Hey, that's a good lead in. So hit it, Terry.
Well,
hit
I'm
it.
just.
What are we talking
If you
about?
really wanted the miracle on 5th Street, you're saying, I think Terry Boardman's editorial piece in the paper sort of explains it. It just tells you how miraculous it really was.
Well, talk
And,
to us about what, because a lot of people don't get the daily reflector. So
Well, they can go online and pull it up if they want to. I really don't know if I can't surmise that in just a little bit, but he's just wanting to know how miraculously all this money came about that they need for shortfalls, for Bradford Creek, for this is the miracle question is, where did the management get nearly $6 million that they needed?
okay, what's he talking about? Help
He's
me
absolutely
out with
right.
that.
He's talking about the fact that, you know, we didn't raise taxes 2 years ago when they told us that we had to for property reevaluations. So that was supposed to be a funding shortfall. The state took your privilege license away. They said they were going to lose
over $1 million.
over $1 million is going to be a shortfall. Just all the different Bradford Creek lost money. The Carson lost money. All these things wasn't budget lost money, but miraculously you came up with that plus staff raises and $6 million of money that you did not have. And what he's saying is that miracle is not a miracle. You digged into all those funds
Well,
that
that's
you
what
didn't,
he's saying.
you don't have money in, and you balanced the budget, which is what they did.
Yeah, he said it's not a miracle. Management used in 2015 slush fund money that has been hidden in various accounts in order to justify higher taxes.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the past 2 years alone, taxes were increased 4 times, and user fees have gone up every year. Just management taxing citizens and hiding cash. Then he says, Finance Commission, maybe?
I mean, absolutely.
Well,
right.
you know what? I know where he's coming with the Finance Commission, but I'm sorry. After my experience on the Bond Advisory Committee, they're not going to listen to it at all anyway.
So I think we've all been asked to serve on the other 2 committees that they're forming.
I started laughing.
What was my response was ha.
Yeah, really.
Exclamation point. And I sit in the back like.
And I've asked several members. Now, some of them might have agreed to do it, but I've asked several that I had seen if they had wanted to be on the Education Committee or the Advocacy Committee, and they said no way, waste of time. And that is sad because we had a very good group of citizens serving,
group, appointed
very
by every single one of our
smart
council
in
members.
different areas of their business world in all different areas. And it's just really sad. It's really sad that that's how we feel, which is also, I think, why we feel that I went to a couple of the meetings about the bond, and I spoke, and several other people did. But after a while, Dennis, you just feel like it's useless. I mean, you just really... I hope that they won't feel, and the public so hopeless that they won't get out and vote, but they need to vote. They need to show their voice this year. If you're really unhappy with what you've been seeing in those city council meetings, even people who don't normally watch them have told me that they would watch sections that they could, as long as they could, and they're fed up with it. Well, then they need to speak up when it comes time to vote in the ballot box, like Michael was saying earlier, and make a change. Make a change here, or this city is going to be in big trouble.
Absolutely.
Because what's going to happen is, if they are able to hire anybody to come in, are we going to get the quality that we want to take these spots? And are we even going to be able to retain the people that we do have? And, you think about age-wise, there are other people who are going to be retiring out. I mean, it's going to be coming up. Mm-hmm. And what are we going to be able to get people who are as good as the ones that we felt like we had, and people like Carl Reese and others to take their place? I'm not sure they're going to want to come here. I hope they won't watch the council meetings.
If the word does get out that you have this much turnover, you're going to have good people think twice about coming.
I know, and you can't blame them.
And I think part of I was thinking about it this morning. What's concerning to me is and I talk a lot about vision of leaders in our city having vision. My concern is vision. Government vision is a 15 or 20 year vision. So when you are creating, it's kind of like the infrastructure that Allen's pushing so hard to do right now with those roads. This isn't something, I'm not saying you won't get an immediate payback, but you're doing something that will help us 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And they can't see that.
Right.
They're looking at today's fiscal responsibility, or basically not spending the money to invest today, but not seeing that if they don't set these things in place for today, that in 20 years, we're going to be so far behind everyone else is going to be laughable.
Well, and sometimes this may have nothing to do with it, but when I heard, on Henry's show and in various articles that I've read about what's going on in Raleigh and how they're trying to cut things that we need in Eastern North Carolina in the budget, and then they look at our local leadership, you just have to wonder, when you put all that together, what are they really looking at when they look at us with our leadership that's in place right now? I just think that I sometimes think they laugh about it. I just don't think they think we have good leadership. And are they going to trust us with making all these decisions and keep putting money in, which we need it, in Vidant and in ECU, only to know that our city is being not run properly, just not run like it should be.
Absolutely.
Bad decisions being made.
Absolutely.
How is that going to roll over into other bad decisions being made? I just think it's a big problem. But anyway, I know that he says something else in this article, which I think is very true. When we go to public comment period and we get up to speak, we're given 3 minutes. You can't hardly say anything in 3 minutes to get your point across. But they can grandstand up there for hours as long as they want to and say absolutely nothing. Talk in circles.
Well, we have one up there specifically that
just talk
every
in
time
circles.
That person talks,
I know,
have
so I don't really
absolutely
understand.
no idea what they've said.
I guess certain people
No names,
you might
Dennis.
not want to listen to talk for 10 or 15 minutes, but 10 minutes to me, I mean, give us longer than 3 minutes to
No,
talk.
I think they should be limited by a 3-minute rule.
Oh, I thought there was some sort of limit put
They
in
don't
at one point
enforce
about
it. They don't
when,
enforce
how
it
much
because
they
all
could
of them
talk.
get to do responses. Someone says it, and if this person disagrees, they can keep going back and forth, and it's
Well, and I wouldn't
you're
even
killing
mind that if
yourself.
they say something, but they say the same thing. There is no
Well,
new information given when they rebuke the other person.
They've gotten creative around it. They know that if you make another motion, you get another set of time. So that's why you see a lot of motions happening and stuff like this. So they've been very creative.
I frankly think that they like to keep the meetings long because they know people are going to turn it off and nobody's going to listen, and they get to do what they want to do without any repercussions, frankly.
Well, I don't know.
I don't think there's any
You may be
accountability right now.
Well, I'm just ready for this election. So people out there
Me
that's
too.
thinking about running, get out and get ready and get involved because, I mean, you got to watch what's going on in the city. I mean, to me, the whole no vision thing is really getting me, and the political magnitude. And I call names. Calvin Mercer used it. If you watch the city council the last 2 years, he has almost not said a word.
Right.
You know, it's like being that political. He's weighing every decision in his head of how it's going to look politically and how it's going to play out in the future to the public. And he has not said anything. Why have a leader in place that doesn't speak, that doesn't voice their opinion on anything?
Well,
Why?
Well, I think it's right
completely
now.
agree
We
with that.
do have to take our second commercial
Right,
break.
let's do it.
And we can go back and maybe we can try to look into those answers, Dennis. So we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Welcome back, everybody. We're in the last leg of our segment, this time on Greenville Grit. We're just having a little fun, just talking about all things city council. Let's talk about this. Anybody want to take any bets? Is the new building downtown, the Taft building downtown, going to be open for students?
On time?
I drive by, and I don't think so.
I know. Well, you know, our family's in construction, so is Michael, and the last 30 days makes a huge difference.
They're going to be working
accomplished.
overtime. From what I've heard, they're 100% leased.
Yeah.
And they have little to no room for error.
Yeah, they got to get it done.
So they have got to get it done.
I drive by. When I drive by from one day to the next, I mean, there's a lot that's done.
Yeah.
But I still look at it.
But have you seen the charter school out on Fire Tower Road?
There's nothing on that one, is there?
Oh, my God. The
Yes.
siding's up.
Yeah, it's going. It's getting going.
Oh, wow. I just drove by there about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they were going that fast. Because I actually look at it every morning and driving out. The siding is going up on all sides. And probably in the next week or two, you'll see the windows going in. Those guys are rolling.
And
They
the
are
school
rolling.
on the new school on
Arlington? Yeah, that's
it's
right.
Getting,
Yeah,
it's
Billy
getting ready.
Walton's school.
Yeah, so there's like a lot going on there.
Well, there is a lot of child care centers there.
I know. You know, I'm concerned a little bit about traffic there and how they're going to handle all that
Well,
on
the
Arlington.
positive of what they're doing in Arlington is they bought that corner lot and they're going to take a right out of Hyde that you can get back to Charles also.
Okay, that
so
would be
that
good.
will help alleviate some of the traffic.
People in Hyde going to be a little upset about that.
Yeah,
Well,
there'll be a lot of traffic going
Can't
through
please
there.
everybody, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's either that or everyone's going to be trying to take a right or a left off Arlington, and that could be a nightmare. You know, a couple
Well, they
hundred
may
kids
only
a
be
day,
able to
so.
go one direction on Arlington with the flow of the traffic and do something different. I
Well,
don't know how they're going to handle
And
that.
I have also heard that Hobby Lobby's supposed to be coming to
Yeah,
Greenville. A
I
lot of
heard
people
that.
are excited about that, and got some other big retailers looking to come in. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see some of that soon.
Yeah, we've still got the umbrella market. I haven't been. It's been so
It's
hot.
been too hot. I haven't been to Sunday in the Park either. It's still hot.
It is very hot. But a lot going on there and getting a lot of exposure. There's a hot dog contest tonight, and of course this show's going to air after that, or they could still make it down there. But it's supposed to be a lot of fun things going on.
That's
So-
tonight. Umbrella Market is.
And a Wednesday
Yeah,
night.
Wednesday
yeah.
night.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I take my kids to the spray ground, and that's still open.
Oh
so.
yeah, I want to take my
How's
grandchildren
the traffic
back.
been there this year? Pretty good.
It's all right. One thing I have a concern about is a lot of the groups during the summer, that the summer camps are taking their kids there, and apparently there's a special time for them to go. But one day I went there and they were at the time, and it was hard to get in there. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it's still.
Which is probably why we need another one.
Yeah, we do need another
You
one.
know, we need another one.
Well,
It's
I mean,
great.
I've heard
So much
I
fun.
remember in the bond committee we had talked about the town commons and
Right.
possibly even having a spray park there, but don't want to
Lots
upset
of
anyone
things.
or do anything on that piece of
No.
land.
Oh, they had
So-
talked about
unless
putting
they
it
do
on.
it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
No,
That's
man,
all
we're
right,
going
but it's
for
a great
benches
thing.
and trash cans, man. Benches and trash cans.
$7,000 benches.
That's right.
Really, that's right.
So I mean, there's some good
So
things
there's
going
still
on.
some good things going on, and
But again, it goes back that if we don't get that vision and we don't invest in our infrastructure and invest in
right.
our economic development to bring jobs to this town, you know,
it's all about
we've
jobs.
gotta have
no matter
jobs
what
now.
anybody says, it's about jobs.
I think about this all the time, and not that I care anymore, but just think about if I was still in that council, I mean, it'd been about 2,000 jobs in Greenville. Volvo would have came to Greenville. I mean, it would just been amazing. You're lost.
It could be. That still does bother me, though, about I don't know that we would have been chosen.
That goes right back to state leadership.
Yeah,
that's
right.
In South Carolina, you got to give them credit. They've been very aggressive, whether some people may view as what they did is right or wrong. But they had that vision. They're looking out 15 to 20 years. When Volvo goes north of Charleston with 4,000 jobs, that 4,000 can create 12,000 jobs.
Well, look,
easily.
I'd like to know how much conversation was even given by our local leaders to Raleigh about what was going on with Volvo coming in. Probably
conversation
nothing.
was there, but
I don't know.
Anyway, but we got to wrap the show up. It was a good, interesting show today. So thank you for joining in. Thank you again to Greenville Toyota Ribeyes and the Overton Group, and you can catch us on Friday night at 6:30 as well as Saturday morning at 9:30 on Cable 7. And until next time, we will see you in a week.